Greetings and welcome to Nathan Mile Official. This is my personal channel where blah blah blah. I think and plenty of you have heard the intro before. I just don't care right now. But right now this is Naked Truth Response, Trisha, blah blah blah. The topic is about like second puberty and all this other shit, which I wasn't sure if I could even do this subject because never really gone through something like that per se. And well, here's the thing. I actually discovered something yesterday that's very interesting. I've known that there are people who are like this before, who have gone their whole lives without really learning anything. But now now I know that there is a name that exists for it. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. And anyone can suffer from it, but there are really stupid people who live their entire lives suffering from it. Basically what it is, the Dunning-Kruger effect describes someone who lacks the competence to critically analyze themselves and can therefore create a misconception about how competent they are. Or in layman's terms, they're so stupid that they don't realize how stupid they are, and they live they fool themselves into believing that they're actually really great at something, and because of that they're never able to actually learn. And that sounds kind of similar to what you're describing, where you reach a point where you're like, I'm an adult, I got this, and then you realize, holy shit, there's so much about myself I need to fix. I'm kind of lucky enough that I don't want to brag about my intelligence, but it's one of the few good things about me. I've got a great brain, and I realized from a very young age that there's no such thing as having it all together. I remember like growing up, as a kid, you always look at the people around you thinking that, oh my God, look at these adults, they have it all together, I can't wait to be one of them. And I think, but for me, like that notion was very easily done away with because of my horrible background. I had relatives who beat me till I bled. I had some really shitty teachers. I had some great teachers too. I'm not dissing all teachers, but I also had some really shitty teachers. Like in 6th grade, I was supposed to be in the advanced math class, but we come to find out that we're actually behind all of her normal classes. The stuff she's trying to teach us, these guys learned 2 months ago, and we're like, wait, how the fuck did that happen? And she actually tells us that it's because we're basically, because I don't remember her exact words, but basically she tells us we're too immature because we're constantly acting up and whatnot. She didn't feel like we could handle the workload, which to me is total bullshit. I mean, what the fuck? It doesn't matter how we act as people. You should let the work speak for itself. Our emotional intelligence and actual intellect are just two completely separate things. I mean, that still pisses me off. Like, how are you going to say that because a bunch of children are acting like children, then they're not smart enough to handle the real, work? I mean, what the fuck? Anyways, I'm still flustered by that. She was probably the shittiest teacher I've ever had. That's just stupid. But anyways, like, I've had a lot of really shitty people in my life who I've been able to look at and realize, I want to be nothing like you. I want to be nothing like you. You should be fired. You have no right to teach. And so I was able to realize fairly early on that there's no such thing as having it all together. And people who tell you that, oh, it gets easier, no it doesn't. Life never gets any easier. In fact, it keeps getting harder and harder every year. It's just that at some point in time, you just get used to handling all the bullshit. And everything doesn't seem like such a big deal anymore. And so one thing, and that's why, like, I've been able to just constantly I never felt like my first puberty ended, because I just keep feeling like a damn 5-year-old. I look at the world around me, and I feel like I know nothing. I don't understand any of this. I look at people around me, and I'm constantly wondering, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Something that I learned, there's this Men in Black, the movie, Tommy Lee Jones, Will Smith, back in the 90s. There was something that Tommy Lee Jones said, Agent K, in the movie. He said, 1,500 years ago, everybody knew that our Earth was flat, that our world was flat. 500 years ago, everybody knew that Earth was the center of the universe. And 48 hours ago, you knew that we were alone on this planet. Imagine what you'll know tomorrow. And that thing, even as a little child, I think I was like 8 when that movie came out, and it just blew my fucking mind. Because honestly, I always try to keep that in the back of my head at all times. No, and I realize that the only thing I know for sure is that I don't have all the answers. That's the only thing I'm confident enough to say. I know for a fact that I do not know everything. And so I'm always open and willing to learn anything that anyone has to teach me. Sometimes the lessons I learn, the things that people try to teach me, I look at them and I'm like, you're an idiot, please shut up. But I still let them talk, and I make the decision at the time. I don't just automatically say, oh, you say you want to tell me something that's different from what I believe? You're wrong, go away. I sit there and listen to how stupid they are, and then tell them that they're stupid. So, so for me, I've never really felt, I've had moments where I feel like, oh, I'm really adulting now. I'm getting better at this. Because moving out on my own, having to actually pay bills, making a budget, saving money, planning for the future, doing things like that. I do feel every year like I feel more and more like an adult. This is the most I've paid attention to politics. Like, I think I've watched more political news these past 2 years than I have in the entire first 25 years of my life. Especially now, I'm trying to start my own business again, and it's a very slow and boring process, and honestly, something that used to be so fucking fun for me has now suddenly started to actually feel like work. But that's a necessary part of doing it. And like I said, I feel more like an adult than I ever have before. I'm eating healthier. I started looking at food labels and realized that so many of the things I drink are just water pumped full of chemicals to add flavor. And so now I'm drinking mostly just like water, some tea, and a bunch of fruit juices. Some of them 100% fruit juice. Some of them, maybe not necessarily, but it was at one point in time fruit. At some point in time, some of the juice that exists in this concoction was at one point in time fruit, as opposed to all this other bullshit, which is just like water, high fructose corn syrup, some sort of preservative, sodium phosphate benzoate, blah blah blah, and then a little bit of fruit juice for flavor. But I'm eating less junk food. I still spent like $40 on Halloween candy last week, so I still do eat junk food, but I'm eating less junk food, more vegetables. I'm probably in the best shape of my life. Can't you tell? But I don't think I'll ever hit the second puberty, just because I'm still going through first puberty, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that my life in itself has just been horrible. Like I said, I got abused by my relatives. I was bullied at school. I ended up being homeless, and even now, this is the most comfortable I've ever been in life. I make so much money on a regular basis that I can buy pizza every single weekend. I can spend hundreds of dollars on groceries every month. I can spend hundreds of dollars on cable that I don't actually need. I can spend recklessly, and I still don't spend my entire paycheck. My bank account is still constantly growing without having to worry about an effective budget, without having to have an effective savings plan. I'm just making more money than I know how to spend because I've been broke my entire life. I've never had this much money. But even so, even at this point, I'm still not comfortable. I've still never felt comfortable enough to just say, I got this together. My entire life, basically since middle school started, my entire life has been a constant pursuit to improve my life. Now, I've never been able to settle for, I like what I've got, it's okay. I mean, there are times when I'm like, let me take a mental break because I've been fighting for too many years. Like, I'm exhausted. I need to heal emotionally. And I'm in a place right now where I can just relax and enjoy a little bit. But even in those moments, there's always been in the back of my mind, I still have this goal to accomplish. So, I guess that's me. I don't know. I'm kind of a unique individual amongst the human race. But I think there was a point in this video somewhere. Hopefully you caught it. But overall, yeah, I think I don't think I'll ever have that second puberty. I think I'm gonna keep going through my first puberty until I hit my midlife crisis, which would actually be my second midlife crisis. Funny enough, I did have a midlife crisis when I was 12 years old. You're like, that's impossible. You can't have a midlife crisis when you're a teenager. But actually, yes, you can. The midlife crisis doesn't have anything to actually do with your age. It's a point where the man realizes his mortality and tries to recapture his youth. When I was 12 years old, I realized how worthless it all was, and I started skipping school and just watching PBS all day. Like, it's hard. When you're 12 years old, you don't have much of a youth to recapture. I'm just saying. So I might not end up buying a fancy sports car when I'm 40. Unless when I turn 40, I suddenly start making $50 million a year. In which case, hell yeah, I'm buying a mansion with an indoor pool, an outdoor pool, one below ground, one above ground. I'm going to have an entire gaming room, and I'm going to get like 5 tattoos. I'm going to dye my hair hot pink. I'm just going to do all this shit because I got enough money to spend. Other than that, no, I'm not going to do anything too stupid or reckless. So right now, here I am, 27 years old, still feeling like a 5-year-old, wondering like how to make it by in this world. Still feeling like a high schooler, just trying to make the best out of every city situation. Still feeling like the same college kid, just trying to learn my way through life, trying to build towards a better future. I've never really felt like that whole full-grown, oh yeah, I'm accomplished, I don't have to worry about anything feeling. And that's the video. Bye! I really don't like Naked Truth because it's like, I feel bad about making an actual script, but then again, without a script, I just do this. This video makes no fucking sense to me. And I'm looking at the camera and I'm realizing I'm kind of out of frame. My head is sticking over the top. Damn you, camera! What, one of these days, cameramen will be eliminated from the earth. They're just going to have automatically adjusting cameras that you just type it in the settings and it'll just move itself to focus in on you. And then, I need to turn off this camera before I just go into some weird tangents. Bye.